Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple. Can't get any simpler than that.
So Jamaica is among several countries that have been hit with a 10% tariff on its export to the United States, which were announced late this afternoon by US President Donald Trump. All CARICOM countries have been hit with 10% tariff, but Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago have been slapped with a 38 and a 12% respectively. The new tariff will go into effect on Saturday, April 5th. Now, Donald Trump decides to him not play with nobody at all, but Andrew Holiness decide to clap back at Donald Trump. People, we have all of that coming up inside of this update, including KPH crisis. Upper KPH hospital, a pure crisis are going up the right now, people. So I definitely need to see that as well. Bless up to my viewers and my subscribers them. I hope everybody having a blessed and a wonderful day. Now my viewers and my subscribers, remember, in everything you do, always put God first. In any situation, just always remember to call upon God. Always remember to pray, because a prayer day keep the devil away. Now my viewers and my subscribers, we have a lot coming up inside this update, so you definitely don't want to miss none. So guess what? Make you run the intro and come back. We soon forward.
Andrew Holiness will go down in history as Jamaica's biggest chopper. Somebody say when Andrew Holiness tell enough to vote for prosperity, him never specific who for prosperity matter about. His or yours? At this point, the answer is pretty obvious. When me hear 28 accounts, me want shut up. My God! When me hear say Andrew file nil tax returns despite making millions, me say wickedness can't done. A nil tax return is when a company brings in income so low it cannot be taxed. But his companies were making millions. When Andrew Holiness claimed that the financial institution incorrectly reported the JMD in his account were US, as some look on him. Because how the a bank mistakenly changed the currency of the funds that's in your account? He also said that a company that he is affiliated with mistakenly deposited money into one of those accounts. Andrew Holiness, how you want so lucky? So now, the opposition a tell Andrew for step down. The JLP party member them a say, step down in your mama. Andrew Holiness here step down and say, you know what? Defamation lawsuit, mega soon. Listen, I'm not affiliated with any party, JLP or PNP. So I'm reporting on whatever I see or read in the news. So members of JLP and PNP, how do you feel about all of this? Let me know in the comments.
How me feel about this? I think the Prime Minister should go to prison. He is a criminal and a man that cannot be trusted. Someone that is not fit to run this country. We need to give Mark Golding a chance to see what him can do to help the people of Jamaica. You understand? Welcome back to my viewers and my subscribers them. Thank you all for supporting the Dancehall Royalty Review TV. Now my viewers and my subscribers, Andrew Holiness clap back at Donald Trump, the US President. And people will have that for sure now. And make on a year what Andrew Holiness really I say after Donald Trump imposed a 10% tariff on all shipment leaving Jamaica. You understand me? I say now people, before we jump into that, make we take a look into this story where Upper KPH at this moment is a total mess. Make we check out what Dayton Campbell had to say, people.
This is Dr. Dayton Campbell, General Secretary of the People's National Party. As a medical doctor, I must speak plainly. What's happening at the Kingston Public Hospital is a public health emergency. 18 out of 20 areas tested at KPH showed dangerously high levels of mold on walls, ceilings, and even in the air patients and staff are breathing. Operating theaters have been shut down, surgeries delayed, and both healthcare workers and patients are being forced to operate in a facility that poses serious health risk. Let me be clear. Mold like this can trigger asthma, cause infections, and severely impact those who are already vulnerable. This is not just a building issue. It is a life issue. It's a leadership issue. How can the government stay silent when Jamaica's largest public hospital is literally falling apart? The People's National Party is calling for immediate action, full remediation of all affected areas, a national hospital audit, and a proper plan to protect the people who protect us, our doctors, nurses, and also the patients. We also demand answers. Who knew and why was nothing done? This is about lives, and the time for excuses is over. We stand with Dr. Alfred Dawes in demanding accountability and urgent action. Jamaica deserves better.
People, on a know say years now, mole is a problem at the KPH hospital. And not just yesterday, and not just today, people, and not just last week. Years now, mole is a problem at the KPH hospital, and these people are not doing nothing at all about it. Just like how they make mole destroy the hospital down in Mobile, the Cornwall Regional Hospital. These people care zero about us. Them care zero about healthcare. They just care about their pocket and boast about what them do. But people, check out what Dr. Dawes had to say, my viewers.
To be honest, myself and my team, we did not know that things were this bad. Where we warned up a collapse, we didn't know that the system was actually collapsing in front of our very eyes. The latest storm or hurricane to hit the healthcare sector is the mold crisis at the Kingston Public Hospital. Now, as far back as last year, October, November, there were concerns about mold in the clinics. A study was done, and because of the JLP's response every time we make a claim to attack us and call us liars and purveyors of misinformation, we are making the reports publicly available so that Jamaicans can see for themselves that an independent subject matter expert has confirmed that there is a mold crisis at the Kingston Public Hospital. They have moved out the clinics from that area, downscaled the size of the clinics and house them in a separate room. But the problem still exists. The pitch patch work that took place at Cornwall Regional Hospital when that mold crisis first came to light about 9 years ago is the same sort of work that is taking place at KPH today. On top of that, there was a recent expose of the operating theaters not being functional because of the air conditioning units not working well. This was downplayed, but we did see that the 4 operated theaters are shut down now at the Kingston Public Hospital. And what has happened is that in that moist environment, mold is growing in the operating theaters. Again, this is being downplayed as something that can be fixed. But we know the track record looking back at what happened at Cornwall Regional Hospital, and we are very fearful that the same thing is going to happen at KPH again. We as a nation cannot afford for that to happen. We have 2 Type A hospitals serving Jamaicans in the public healthcare system. Cornwall Regional Hospital is basically non-functional. Kingston Public Hospital has been the only Type A hospital in the public sector that has been carrying the brunt of all of the trauma, all of the specialist care across the island while serving the needs of the Kingston metropolitan region. Now, with KPH being downsized, it is a crisis affecting not just Kingstonians, but Jamaicans right across the island. Surgeries have been cut, understandably because you don't have an operating theater. They're on emergency surgeries and dire emergency surgeries only. Dire emergency means that you're going to die. And so you have to rush the patient to theater. If you have an emergency and you're not going to die immediately, then you wait until you become a dire emergency. Unfortunately, there are people who are patients who are admitted at KPH now who will never make it to an operating room. They unfortunately are going to die waiting to receive service. They have tried to outsource some of the more urgent cases, cancer cases, at the University Hospital. It has been a logistical nightmare. They're not getting half as many cases as they would have liked done. They're trying to do some at Bustamante Hospital in another piecemeal approach, but there is no coordinated plan to see how you're going to get surgical services up and running. There are some crucial surgical disciplines that we cannot afford to fall off completely. One such service is neurosurgery. With Cornwall Regional Hospital not having a fully functional neurosurgical service, we're left with just KPH, and now KPH does not have a functioning neurosurgical service, which means that if anyone, anywhere in Jamaica, gets a fall or any head injury, they are in serious danger of dying on something that could have easily been fixed with surgery. Do not feel that the University Hospital can shoulder the brunt of all of the trauma, all of the complex cases that are currently being sent for their management. They cannot. One type A hospital in the entire Jamaica cannot serve a population of almost 3 million persons who are getting older, who have chronic diseases and get a lot of strokes, heart attacks, and we do have a high rate of motor vehicle accidents as well as violent trauma. So when you put all of those factors together, taking out Cornwall Regional out of the public healthcare sector, and now taking out KPH as well, we are in a serious crisis mode. We cannot pretend as if it is business as usual. We cannot paint up a building and say that renovations are taking place. We cannot say that this was something that was inherited. We have to take decisive actions now. There are some pictures that show the molds, growth in the ceilings, and there are some pictures that show what is known as a petri dish, those round dishes that actually show the different colonies of the mold. And you can see that these are visual depictions of high levels of fungus in the areas that were swamped. And the averages are way out of what would have been expected. Patients cannot be seen and treated in these areas. There are a lot of issues that come with mold inhalation, and the staff are at serious risk. And anyone who has worked at Cornwall Regional can tell you that working in a mold-infested environment does cause respiratory problems. You just feel sick all the time, and it may aggravate some chronic diseases. So we're putting patients and staff at risk while this cover-up is going on. Remember that this was a report that was handed over to the team at the Ministry of Health from as far back as November last year. I say all of this to say simply that the current administration cannot be trusted any longer to manage the affairs of the Jamaicans and their healthcare system.
Now, I am going to say this. I don't care which party are in power. Jamaican people deserve better. Them vote on in a power. For not treat them better than this. Not treat the people of Jamaica like they are nobody. And Jamaica deserve better. Now, the Jamaican Labour Party clap back at the PNP, including Dr. Dawes. And this is what they had to say, my viewers and subscribers.
It is unfortunate that Dr. Dawes displayed political opportunism and partisanship during the PNP media conference on Tuesday. His partisan rhetoric has no place when discussing matters concerning healthcare. I am advised, that the operating theatre at the Kingston Public Hospital will be back up in operation in short order. A problem was recognized and the Christopherton-led Health Ministry must be credited with moving to fix it. Unlike the former PNP government, the Jamaica Labour Party administration is not into the business of hiding challenges associated with our healthcare system. Dawes should remember it was he who, when the PNP was in office, bemoaned the terrible state of the system and inaction by the PNP. He complained about issues including the garbage bags that were being used for substitute gowns. If he's being honest, Dawes must recognize that the government has invested heavily in upgrading infrastructure, availability of equipment, and service delivery. There is much work to be done, but some positives have been achieved. Dawes should show great objectivity and desist from using the healthcare system to score political points. Jamaica deserves better.
Now, on realize how these people program, whenever you call them out on something very important, something for the health of the Jamaican people, them now stand up to them responsibility, Them have to come on the internet, control word, and make it look like, say, whatever the other side I say, or whatsoever people say, is not right. They're against it. How can you trust these people? Do the right thing. Go and fix up KPH Hospital. You don't have the whole of the money I put on a bank account. Go and spend it on the hospital. Fix up the healthcare system. It is very, very important. Very important. It is a national disgrace how these people are treating the people of Jamaica. It is unfair and it needs to stop like right now. Now, my viewers and my subscribers, Jamaica are in a deep crisis at this moment. We are already in recession, but it is now worse for the people of Jamaica after Donald Trump imposed a 10% tariff on all exported goods to the USA. So anything when they leave Jamaica, go to the USA, a 10% tariff will go on it. Rather it is yam, rather it is banana, rather it is ackee, anything that leave Jamaica to go to the US. Anything that Jamaica export to the US, a 10% tariff will be on that goods. Now, listen to what Andrew Holiness had to say, people.
While the government of Jamaica has not yet received formal notification on the precise implementation procedures, including whether these new tariffs will override existing CBI provisions, we are actively engaging with the United States Trade Representative and other relevant authorities to seek urgent clarification. We are also conducting a detailed technical assessment in collaboration with relevant ministries and agencies to fully understand the scope of these tariffs and their implications for Jamaica's trade and industrial policy. It is important to emphasize that these developments do not reflect any erosion in the long-standing and strong bilateral relationship between Jamaica and the United States. Rather, it reflects a broader recalibration of U.S. trade policy that is global in scope. Still, we will use every available diplomatic channel, including working with our CARICOM brothers and sisters and utilizing the Office of Trade Negotiations to seek to preserve the positions our exporters have secured over decades of deepening trade ties with the United States. Preliminary analysis indicates that some of our top exports may fall under exempted product categories, and we are working to confirm and, where possible, to expand these exemptions. Again, I must emphasize that clarity is still needed on several matters. Furthermore, there may also be opportunities to be found, and we must therefore be proactive and prospective. So to our manufacturers and exporters, we understand the uncertainty this announcement has created. And we are with you every step of the way. You are not only integral to our economic strategy, you are national champions of our resilience and ingenuity. The government will continue to advocate on your behalf and ensure that your interests are protected in any new global trade architecture. I will wrap those statements in my own comments. Jamaica has pursued a very strategic foreign policy in the same way we have pursued very strategic economic policies. If it is one thing that you can be certain of for a small, open economy like Jamaica, is that we will have shocks, exogenous shocks, things that happen outside of and beyond our control. In the past, we used to say it is other people's fault. In the past, we used to hope that good friendships will come to our rescue. In the past, there are those who believe the world owed us something. That is not my stance, and I have not run this government in that way. We must be prepared for shocks, and we must be resilient. We must be able to absorb the hit and recover. And we must put ourselves in a position to always be welcomed at the table to negotiate. And where we have our truths and strong positions, we must speak them clearly without fear to authority and powers. And we do it without bombast, hysterics, and hyperbole. And we get the job done. As we have for the last 9 years at the helm of this country, carrying Jamaica through the worst pandemic, the worst global shocks as a result of the pandemic, through a hurricane followed by a tropical storm, all kinds of shocks. And what used to take us 30 years and 17 years to recover, we recover momentarily. So for those who take this for granted and would wish to diminish it and believe that there is something else, let me urge you to think carefully. This is a new world, an uncertain world, but Jamaica stands on its 2 feet, erect and proud. We will secure our economic independence. And I want every Jamaican to appreciate that. So yes, it is uncertain time. But we have done the necessary work. We have built the relationships. We have placed ourselves in strategic positions to be heard and to be heard from and to be consulted. When these changes are going to happen, we know that they could have long-term impact. We started planning long ago. So when you don't hear me say and run out and make statement, because you have a government that is thinking very carefully, very strategically. I play chess, not draft.
Now, people, me I want to know, say, from this government going to power, upon him 2 knees them in their crawl. This government don't know how to stand on his 2 feet, but crawl on his 2 knees. Him not stop, bow down to foreign government. Him not stop, bow down to the United States, to the EU, to Canada, to all of these countries because of the love of money. Andrew Wallace don't know how to stand up straight. Him don't know how to stand up on him 2 feet them. So only listen what this man had to say, people. Because everything will come out of mouth a stupidness. Everything a stupidness will come out of mouth. Him just a speak because he had to speak. So only listen to him. Anyway, they need a puppet while he chop back on Andrew Wallace's backside. Like a guard dog. He would have to have something to say and defend Andrew Wallace. Someone want to listen to this one here. They didn't call him Cliff Stooge. Listen what this mama man had to say, people.
Whenever the U.S. economy goes into recession or slows, we are affected negatively. Why? Because the majority of the tourists, the visitors to Jamaica, are from the United States. So when they can't afford the holiday and they can't afford the booking, whether it's a 5-star hotel or a little apartment or villa on the North Coast or the South Coast, then it produces a multiplier, cascading effect, because it means that the fisherman who depends on the hotel to take his catch of the day will be told, I don't want any today, I have enough in the freezer. Not to mention the fact that we have hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans in the United States who send home the remittance every fortnight or every week. Yeah? That is going to take a blow if the American economy slows.
This is going to affect each and every Jamaican. Whether you're there yard or abroad, it will go affect we. It will go hit we very, very hard. But remember, in Nigel Clark budget presentation, when he removed GCT from imported raw food, remember how the farmers them did a cry. Remember how them raise up the price of fertilizer, give the people them bad fertilizer as well, and destroy their farm. Now, look at it. If you start depending on the local farmers now, that is what you all have to be doing now. Depend on a local product. This is the time when everybody needs to start dig up them backyard and do little backyard farming. Plant little tomato, little hockey, little anything where you can plant. And this is the time when people need to buy food and put down in a them house. Because you all are going to need it. Because the price of things are going to go sky high. The price of things are going to go sky high. People not start ball it. People are going to ball worse than how them a ball at this given moment. It is a national disgrace and a world crisis going on right now. Trust me, people.
Donald just said in the Rose Garden, just signed the executive order with a big signature. 10% tariff on imports from all over the world, 20% tariff on imports from the European Union, 34% on imports from China, and 46% on imports from Vietnam with immediate effect at 401.
Ralston, so hold on now. So that means
Jamaica exported 674 million to the US for the first 10 months of last year.
So he's gonna have 10% tariff to anything where come from Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
For selling at the US.
Yeah, man.
And Jamaica just move 15%, are trying to move 15% GCT from what is coming from the United States.
So I'm telling you, the minister, if a pause her, because she completely out of touch with what take place.
But Ralston, we were saying going into the budget that the government must talk about Donald Trump now in the White House.
So what tell us, them clueless? Because none of them spoke about that.
No,
That's
nothing. Nothing.
Yep.
And the journalist who goes to the cabinet press briefing, don't ask about these things.
Not only the journalists, the so-called analysts, the bogus analysts them too. So you have the journalists who are reporters, I have the bogus analysts.
All right, explain to my listeners how that 10% is going to affect Jamaica.
It is going to make Jamaican exports to the US more expensive.
Right.
And the competition to sell in the US is going to be greater now because we're competing with more people who want a part of the scarce US dollar. So Jamaica will get left out because Jamaican goods are becoming more expensive than the people who Jamaicans are competing with.
So if we used to we export what? Yam to the US, we export a little ackee.
Mm-hmm.
So that means our ackee now is going to be selling for 10% more.
Yeah, man. Everything that we sell is going to 10% will be added to it. We sell 674 million to them for the first 11 months of last year. And we'll be competing with the whole world because everybody on the 10% except China, European Union, and Vietnam.
So
and their things are more, the prices for their things are cheaper than Jamaica because them have cheaper labor, cheaper money, more capital investments, larger scale production. Yeah.
So Marco Rubio coming to Jamaica did not save us?
No. I doubt that they raised the subject with them because I was saying to them that you need to raise the subject with Little Marco about those things. But they are so afraid and so trepid that they never raised it. And the minister was in Parliament during the budget debate and yesterday talking about economic growth and she never said anything about those things.
So you think we're going to export less to America now? You think it
will? The trade deficit is going to get wider. Come on, man. That's a natural, man, our biggest trading partner.
Yeah,
so we're going to run wider trade deficits now, more pressure for the Bank of Jamaica in terms of stabilizing the dollar, more economic downturn. That is why I'm saying to you that the minister will have a pause her because she was talking about economic growth yesterday.
Yeah.
And she never said anything about these things that will be happening to our major trading partner. And although everybody knew that this announcement was going to be made.
But we were all listening out for what Donald was going to say in the Rose Garden. She not sound like she did have that on her agenda.
No, she never even mentioned it. That's the point I'm making. I'm telling you how much these people are out of touch. How could you be a finance minister in a developing countries where America is the greatest trading partner and you said nothing about what the dollar was doing while the markets have been selling off for weeks because everybody was awaiting what he was going to do with bated breath. These people are completely out of touch with reality.
Canada, they are reacting to Donald.
Yeah, man. Everybody reacting.
But can we react? Can Jamaica react?
The only reaction you can do is to lower the cost of energy and to diversify your trading partners. She, neither the Prime Minister who spoke for 5.5 hours, never said anything about those things. Well, the point I'm making to you, while the whole world was preparing for these things, because this is not something that came upon us suddenly like a thief in the night.
Not at all.
Donald has been talking about this and the markets have been selling off for weeks before this thing happened. And they spoke and they never said anything about these things.
Because Donald campaigned on this.
Yeah, man. And in the past 3 or 4 weeks, it has become imminent because he has been consistently talking about Liberation Day. And that is why the international equities markets were selling off and the price of gold jumped. And these people are down here where America is our major trading partner. And they never said anything about those things in their budget presentation. So it tells you how out of touch they are.
I am concerned about this tariff.
When it happened today.
I am concerned about the tariff, Ralston.
Yep.
Because it is going to make our goods less competitive.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
On the market.
Yeah, man.
And are we looking for new markets?
You hear them say anything about that?
No.
That's the point I'm making.
So we
have to look at the reality. It will have to come from them.
But let's look at. I wanted to hear from you some of the things that she said yesterday, because she said mining and quarries up, tourism is performing better.
Well, we can't bother them primary school business because what she was talking about is that the decline wasn't as pronounced as the Planning Institute made it to be, celebrating that. While we have a trend line which shows us that the economy declined and decelerated from recovery of 6.5% in the first quarter of 2022 to minus 0.8% during the fourth quarter of 2024. That's a deceleration and decline over a 3-year period.
Right.
This minister is completely out of sync with what is taking place.
And
we really don't have the time to see.
And the decline outweighs the little growth what we have in 2024, because we saw.
Man, that's the point I'm making. We're dropping from a recovery of 6.5% in the first quarter of the year 2022.
Right.
To a decline of 0.8% during the fourth quarter of 2024. That tells you that the economy has been decelerating and declining for almost 24 months.